and hand it over to my colleague Douglas, who is going to be facilitating this meeting, this learning planning.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much, Jessica, and welcome everyone to this learning clinic. My name is Savagara Douglas. I'm a member of the Wikimedia Community User Group in Uganda. I'm also a member of the Let's Connect working group, presenting to you this learning clinic and facilitating it together with the rest of my colleagues, whom you'll be able to interact with. Tonight, we are hosting Wiki in Africa for today's session. In case you're not familiar with Wiki in Africa, you'll probably be familiar with our speakers who are lined up for today's session. Yeah, you might be familiar with some of these faces. They have done great work in the movement, and we are glad to have them today as our speakers for our session. Ceslos, Florence, Ayla, Noni, plus Wilson and Rachel. They are members of Wiki in Africa, and they've done great work in the movement. They are here to share with us some key tools for organized work. We'll have a couple of tools that might be familiar to you. Others might not be familiar to you, but you'll have a demonstration of how these tools work, and then we'll be able to go over breakouts to practically work out with these tools. So this is the topic for the learning clinic today, the key tools for organized work. So organized work, you might realize that it is quite broad, which means that it is something that can happen or that is happening with the affiliates, with Wikimedians. So if you've done some projects and you need to maybe have statistics or track how the results can be analyzed, you might have come across some of the tools that we are talking about. So you might have done organized work as a non-Wikimedian, maybe to manage projects, for example. You might have used some of these tools, or even you might have interacted with some other tools that are totally different from those that are going to be presented today, but the functionality might be the same as these ones. So that is the topic for today. And before I go ahead to share with you the outcomes, the Let's Connect culture, I would like to maybe highlight about the Let's Connect culture. Jessica already mentioned in the introduction that she's supporting us in the working group. But Let's Connect is a program that is operated as a joint foundation initiative. So we are here to have a good time. There are no mistakes. We want to create a free space where everyone can feel free to contribute or feel free to make mistakes, because we are here to learn from each other and also like to share our experiences. So that's what Let's Connect is about. It's a joint community and foundation-led initiative. So for our learning objectives and outcomes today, we hope that by the end of this session, you'll have a clear understanding of the tools that can support you in your work. And also, we hope that you'll have a chance to practically use these tools and get further support in case the time is not enough to give you all the support that you might need in this session. Our agenda for today, we are having the introduction. Jessica will take us through the icebreaker that will be for around 10 minutes, and then we'll go through the overview the tools by our speakers. Then we'll go to the breakout rooms. These breakout rooms will have 2 rounds. So every participant will have a chance to interact with at least 2 of the tools that are going to be demonstrated. Then we will have group reflections, and we'll highlight any support needs that might that might arise from this session. Yeah, that is generally what we are going to be doing today. And yeah, I would like to invite Jessica to lead the icebreaker session. Over to you, Jessica.
Okay. Thank you. So we wanted to do a very quick poll. I'm going to read the questions out and the answer options. So I'll ask the interpreters to translate as I read them out. So I'm starting the poll now, and you should be able to see it on your screens and be able to answer. How often do you forget a password you use for work things? Every day? Never. I'm super organized. Okay, at least once a week, or other. That is the first question. The second question, so you can start answering this. Do you think your social media posts about Wikimedia are super popular, but I don't know how many people see them? I have no idea, I don't track this, or I don't make any posts about Wikimedia on social media. You should be able to start answering the questions. Are you able to see the questions to answer? Okay, I see now some people are answering. Fantastic. And the third question we have is, what best describes your team? Our team is really efficient, and we use a tool to track all our tasks. Our team doesn't really use any tool. Our team members love to use their own tool. Each member uses their own tool to organize tasks. And the final question is, do you know how Wiki and Daba was broadcasted live? Do you know how Wiki and Daba was broadcasted live on YouTube? You can say yes, no, or what is Wiki and Daba? For those of you just joining, we're doing a quick poll. You should see it on your screens. I see 44 people have already participated, so we'll wait a few more seconds. Just make sure those who are joining to mute your microphones. Thank you. Okay, we have 62% of people have already answered. I'm waiting for a few more seconds. For those who might need the translated versions of the questions, I will put them also on the chat. Just give me one more second. Okay, I'm ending the poll now. We have 75% of people participated. You can also answer in the chat if you were just arrived and you also want to share. So this is just to get us to know each other a little bit more and how we use tools. I am surprised to see that a lot of people don't forget their password that much, not every day. I forget it every day. That's me. So I'm that 1%, that 5%. Never, I'm super organized, 14%. We have a group of very organized people, at least once a week. 50% of people forget their password once a week. That's quite a lot. And other. Second question, do you think your social media posts about Wikimedia are? So a lot of us think 27% that they're super popular, but we have no idea how many people. So we see them, so we don't really track them. 41% say they have no idea. That's like me. And a few of us don't post anything on social media. So a lot of us think that they're popular, but we don't really know what's happening. How would you describe your team? 41% says our teams are really efficient and you track all your tasks in one tool that you're using. 14% say they don't use a tool. So here's an opportunity to start discovering some tools to track your tasks. And we see 41% is that teams where people like to use a lot of different tools. That might make it a bit hard to keep everybody organized. And finally, we see that 55% of people didn't know how Wiki and Daba was broadcast on YouTube. A few people don't know about Wiki and Daba, so maybe our sharers can give a small introduction into what Wiki and Daba is. And I will stop sharing now. Thank you. I think what we can see from this is a great opportunity to use tools. Over to you, Douglas.
Thank you so much, Jessica. Those are really interesting insights from the poll results, and definitely our speakers, our sharers are going to provide insights to these tools. They'll definitely provide answers to what Wiki Indaba is and how the broadcast for Wiki Indaba happened. So right about now, we are going to have an overview of the tools. So I did not mention the specific tools, like not to spoil the surprise, but definitely I know all of us are here because we filled the form and we know which tools we are going to be shared today. So we are going to have a presentation, and in case there are any questions that come up while our speakers are presenting, please feel free to type them in the chat, or you'll use you can type any questions or comments in the Jamboard. We'll be sharing the links to the Jamboard in the chat. Jessica, probably someone will be able to do that. But also, I guess I should stop sharing, and then we can have the presentation to have our sharers present the tools at this moment. Thank you, and over to you, Jessica.
Over to our presenters. So Florence, I will.
Hi, everyone. My name is Nani, and I will be sharing the overview presentation. Just give me a few seconds, please. Can everyone see?
We can.
Okay.
Yes.
Perfect. Here we go.
Great. So I guess I'm starting. I would like to thank Jessica and Douglas for this amazing opportunity to share our experiences with a much wider audience than we normally do. We've been very well supported during this, and very, very thorough, a very, very thorough onboarding process, which has been great. I want to say welcome to everybody else. There's a lot of faces that we know and have worked with, but we're also really excited to see a whole load of new faces. As we share with you the tools that we've developed, well, we haven't developed them, but we've used them in order to build the work that we do. So those of you who don't know Wiki in Africa, we have been working since 2012 really, but 2016 officially, to build various projects that help contribution to Africa, and bridge both the representation and the contribution gaps that exist. So about Africa. So Africa is, as many of us know, is one of the least supported regions in the area, in the world, with regards to knowledge, especially on Wikipedia, but also in other ways. So part of the problem with the content is the lack of content about Africa, is that because there are very few people who are actually contributing from Africa onto any online knowledge system. So we've been building different projects in order to encourage Wikimedians communities to develop. And so a lot of our work, you will have heard, hopefully, of Wiki Loves Africa, which is still running at the moment, which is the 9th year of our photographic competition. We believe it's the largest photographic competition in Africa. We run Wiki Loves Women, which is a part contribution project, which is about bridging the gender gap across Africa. And we do that by doing leadership courses with a focus group, but we also create many opportunities for people to contribute. And some of those are She Said on Wikiquote, or we use in March, this last March, we've just had the Tell Us About Her, where we use our own tool, ISA, which you'll hear a lot more about. And in order to get more use of images about that feature women in different categories and different kind of professions. So we use a whole range of different materials and tools in order to, and ways of working in order to get Wikipedians into the system from Africa. So but part of the tools that you're going to see today are about not just the Wikimedia tools that we work with, or how to work with Wikimedia, or how to train with Wikimedia, or how to write an article. A lot of them are about how to support the work we are doing and making us much more efficient. And so in many ways, the work that we're doing is to, the tools that we are now sharing with you are the ones that help that happen. The first tool, should we move on to the first tool? Yes, thank you. So, Lawrence, are you doing ISA? Sorry, ISA's the one.
I was. Right, I was. I think there is a problem with the access.
What access?
Okay, Florence, copy. It's
it
okay.
was text? Okay,
yes.
Sorry, I didn't know. So I was trying to find out where it was. Okay. Yeah, so welcome everyone. So I'm Florence Devoir. I will briefly introduce ISA. For those of you who do not know, that's a tool that is an in-house tool. We created it back in 2018-19. That was a pilot project done by the structured data team working on Wikimedia Commons. And the idea behind it is to propose a tool which allows to easily add structured data depicts on Wikimedia Commons images. And there were two goals when we set up that tool. The number one goal was to allow everyone to select a category or a group of category of images and work on those to improve their description. And the second goal was also to provide a small tool that would be useful for organizer of little contests. So we set up the tool with the help of the Wikimedia Foundation and another organization called Astropedia, in case you know it. And last year we did some improvements thanks to the help of Wikimedia Sweden. And we wanted to actually provide a demo of that tool today, but there's a calendar thing today. So I'm only quickly explaining it, and then Wilson at the end of the session will propose a date where you will be invited to look at the tool and have a demo of the tool. But to make it shortly, it's for improvement of images, and it is to run some small event. And show me please the next slide. Yes. It is hosted on Poolforge, so it's very easy for everyone to access it. Of course, it's free. And I linked here a campaign that you can go to and have a look. It's about climate change. It is one of the projects we run this year. And I invite you to go and have a look before the training planned in May. So that's the first tool.
Hi, my name is Rachel. I work for Wiki in Africa as the Communications Oversight Manager. I hope I'm talking slowly enough, Jessica. Okay, so Later is a social media scheduling tool. The reason I use it is because I think social media is the biggest time suck of the 21st century. And Later, the way Later has set up their scheduling tool, it's a very intuitive platform where you can do so many things that will actually cut your scheduling time in half, but that's not all it does. You can manage your media. It's linked to Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, TikTok, and LinkedIn, as well as it does have MailChimp ability. There's also an Instagram planning grid. So you can actually plan your grid out before it loads. If you're into like the whole fancy Instagram grid and you want it to be all pretty, this is the tool to use. You have a link, they have a thing called link in bio, which basically allows you to post links on Instagram through your bio on your profile. You can manage your conversations, but I think it's only on Instagram and maybe Facebook for this tool. So your inboxes are only for Facebook and Instagram on this tool. You can't do, and I think TikTok as well, actually. I don't use TikTok because I'm 50. So there's that. And then obviously hashtag generation. And if you have problems, they also have an AI caption generation capacity now. So you'd use it to basically schedule your posts in advance. You could view your analytics. I'll go into analytics and why they're useful during the demo. Share your information very, very easily. There's something called social media listening, where it basically, the tool allows you to see what other people in your field are doing and what they're posting successfully and how you're doing in comparison to them. You've got customer engagement, obviously, through your inboxes, and you can collaborate with the rest of your team as well. Next slide, please. Obviously, you need to create an account, but that's very easy. You'll need to link all your social media. Again, very easy. Like I said, it's a very intuitive and very straightforward platform. There's a free version, but it's very limited. You'd only get one social set. So for example, we have 3 different social sets. We have Wiki in Africa, we have Wiki Loves Africa, and we have Wiki Loves Women. We also have, actually we have more than 3, but anyway, we're very busy at Wiki in Africa. So yeah, you can link all your social sets. I'll show that in the demo as well. There's only the growth and advanced management plans have the engagement features. So if you're on the starter plan, you're not going to be able to engage via the platform. It also has free, it's also free for registered nonprofits working against racism, and 50% off for registered nonprofits. So they basically, for their growth plan, which is one of their best plans. The subscription costs are here. You have your starter plan, it's $18 a month, your growth plan, $40 a month, and your advanced plan for $80 a month. But like I said, all of those costs would be halved if you were a nonprofit. That's basically it.
Hi, everyone. It's Isla. I am going to be presenting Montage, which is the photo evaluation tool for Wiki Loves competitions. Nani, can you move on to the next slide, please? Thank you. So Montage was created in order for with the Wiki Loves photo competitions. So whether it's Wiki Loves Monuments, it was mainly actually created for Wiki Loves Monuments, but it's a way for the jury to compile their thoughts and to select from up to, I don't know, in the Wiki Loves Monuments, it's hundreds of thousands of images, but for, say, Wiki Loves Africa, we've had up to 16,000 images. So when you're trying to do an international competition, it's quite difficult to manage that. And then also manage, you can't do it via kind of like Google Sheets, which some people had tried to do. So Montage was developed by Wikimedians to create a platform so that you can, your jury can access the different photographs, and you can select them down, and there's like different ways of doing that. I'll be able to show you how that works because we have like a test run that I can walk you through, and then you'll also be able to. It's a fairly simple tool, and it's free for Wikipedians by Wikipedians for us. So please, Nani, the next one. And it's very easy to load all the information that you need, and you just have to be in contact with the people, but I'll walk you through all of those in the demonstration. Thank you.
That's for me again. So here's the 1Password tool, and I will shortly present it for you right now. And afterwards, when we break in the room, I will be able to do a demo of the tool to show you how it works. So why did we decide to adopt the 1Password? I can't believe you guys are not losing your password all the time. I don't believe that cannot be true. But I think that if you always remember your password, it means that maybe your password are too simple, or that you never change it, or that you use the same password for every single tool you use. And this is, by and large, the way we were running Wiki in Africa the first couple of years. So Isla and I were basically using the same password for every tool that we were both sharing. Let's pick up an example. The Twitter account for Wiki in Africa, for example. So what happened is that we had a simple password. We were never changing it. So from a security perspective, this was bad. And because I used to have a book. I still have a book where I write them down. So when I'm traveling, I don't have the book and I need to call my kids. So it's not a good solution either. So when we started hiring our first staff members, we thought we really need to find a solution. We need to find a solution to communicate quickly, to have good passwords, to not have to bother when somebody new joining or somebody quit the organization. How do we manage all this? How can we do something that is simple, that is also secure for all of us? And then I'm explaining that because I'm thinking if you're alone, you don't maybe need that tool. But if you're a small team currently growing, at some point you will face the problem. So about a year ago, we thought we need a solution. I looked around, I looked on Google, and I also contacted other Wikimedia organizations to ask them how they were doing. And they gave me back some feedback. And in the end, we decided to adopt 1Password as a password management for our team. And essentially, I will show you how it works. It provides a single master password for each of us. And then this will allow us to share easily some passwords for the various tools that we currently share. Next slide, please. Obviously, this is not a Wikimedia tool. This is an external service. Just as later, it is not free. So I will show you the different packs and what it costs for you and how to access it and use it. Thank you.
And that would be me. Florence was probably not trying to mention that I was hacked severally and hence we needed one password, but that's fine. I will be showing us and telling us about StreamYard. StreamYard is simply a broadcast studio on your desktop or laptop or even your phone, by the way. So in brief, what would you use it for? You can use it for online broadcast studio that helps you to stream content directly on social media spaces or external sites. StreamYard, you can stream from Facebook Live, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and a whole lot of social media platforms. And then you can use StreamYard to stream your conversations like we do during our Wiki Africa hour for those of us who know. And of course, you can use that for presentations. And lately they have an enhanced webinar platform which they just added sometime this year. You definitely would want to check that out. It's so dope. And it's also it's a recording studio for you to perhaps pre-record conversations, chats, presentation, or webinars in advance. Like you can make a recording and then schedule it to maybe air live or share it with some people. And then why and when to adopt StreamYard? Of course, when you want to coordinate discussions with people who are not in the same space. Let's say, like myself, I'm in Abuja, Florence is in Stay, Isla in South Africa, and we successfully, with our usual guests on Wiki Africa Hour, run our events because we are in various locations. And of course, that was how we facilitated the streaming of Wiki Indaba from Rwanda last year, November. And it also offers you the presentable format to allow different viewpoints. Now from the respective locations or devices people are using, you can zoom in or present the layout to sort of contain either 2 or 3 of the speakers or 5 at the same time, depending, or even focus on just one person. And then when you have a larger audience than just people in the room. So instead of, let's say, Zoom that maybe offers room for, let's say, 1,000 people, with StreamYard, you just have to share a YouTube link, for instance, or a Facebook link, or a Twitter link, and we can host 10,000 people watching us live. We don't have to break it. So next slide, please. And then the prerequisites and challenges. Our presenters, they need online capacity. You must be logged in per se, be it via laptop or any other mobile devices, of course. And then for you to project or share with the audience, you have to, of course, have social media spaces, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, whichever one. And then for how much? They are very generous to have a free plan, but then your StreamYard branding in your streams would have, of course, serious limits. And you can only have 6 on-screen participants. You can only have 6 people on the screen. So, and then there is a basic plan for $25 per month. This, of course, gives you no stream branding in your streams. And you have unlimited streaming. You can have up to 10 on-screen participants. And then you can embed your logo, overlays, change background, customize the RTMP destinations. Like you can have the projection going into different destinations at once, YouTube, Facebook, and what have you. Of course, you can pre-record streams, you can record, of course, and then up to 10 hours per stream, and multi-stream up to 3 destinations, like I had earlier mentioned. And then there is a professional plan for $49 per month. The juicy part about this professional plan is you can attach an external camera. So when we had that, we thought we were going to have a dedicated camera, to us in Rwanda, but that didn't happen. So you, of course, get a lot of all what is on the $25 per month basic plan. And then you get to enjoy up to 1080 pixels of full HD, individual audio recordings, and in this case, 8 destinations, like you can project on 8 different outlets, let's say. And I already mentioned the extra camera. So yeah, that's it. I'll be sharing more on how you can get on the platform. And you may have heard about competitions like Twitch, Zoom, Facebook Live, YouTube Live, Melon, Restream, Streamlabs, Vimeo Livestream, Rezi, and all that. But like I told you, there are levels to this, and StreamYard is more like here. Why these other guys? Maybe you enjoy them, but StreamYard is really highly recommended. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Noni, and I will be presenting Asana, which is a project management tool. Asana, in my opinion, is a perfect project management tool for those of us looking for a type of software which can keep track of the important and necessary tasks related to your organization that you need to accomplish in a given time frame. It's a project management software that may help you and your team become more organized and prepared for anything. You will be able to keep track of various tasks, create advanced to-do lists, and organize assignments. In a nutshell, Asana can perform all the tasks that are required to run an organization and/or business. Asana is similar to other task and project management software, which allow teams to organize, collaborate, plan, and execute tasks. It acts as a perfect companion to overcome chaos and meet deadlines. It is a web-based task management and collaboration tool, which eliminates the email mess and brings all tasks together. Teams can use Asana to keep track of all tasks, collaborate with other team members, exchange related files, and so much more. Just briefly, one challenge is that for people completely new to project management, it can be difficult to master. And then when it comes to plans and pricing, Asana offers a wide range of plans, such as the free plan, also known as the basic plan, which is for individuals or teams just getting started with project management. It allows teams to collaborate with up to 15 members. The basic plan includes unlimited tasks, projects, messages, activity log, and file storage. I do apologize for the background noise. But yes, the free version is a great option for small organizations, entrepreneurs, or for teams for up to 15 members. And then the premium plan, which is $10.99 per user per month when billed annually, or $13.49 per user per month if billed monthly. In addition to everything in the free version, the premium plan includes one of my favorite features, which is the workflow builder, which creates automatic processes to coordinate with teams. And I will be expanding on this feature for my demo breakout room. And then Asana also offers business and enterprise plans. And of course, those plans are for much bigger organizations, which include more advanced features. Where can you access this tool? Just simply type in asana.com on the web and sign up either as an individual or as a workspace. It is mobile app friendly, both for iOS and Android. And a fun fact, the tool is widely used by various famous companies like Deloitte, Airbnb, Pinterest, Dropbox, and of course, Wiki in Africa. Asana is becoming a favorite among industry giants due to its numerous project management and collaboration features. It is used by millions of individuals in 195 countries and is expanding globally. So yeah, thank you so much. I look forward to seeing you in the Asana breakout room. Thanks.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for those wonderful pitches. It feels like I want to go into all the rooms at the same time. It's going to be very hard to choose. So just a reminder to everybody, we have 2 rounds. So you'll be able to pick your first choice, and then we'll all come back, and then you'll pick your second choice. And if you don't manage to see everything that you want, we will be recording each room so you can watch it afterwards. And so don't feel like you're going to miss out. What I am going to do now is we're going to go into breakout rooms. You will be able to select through a poll which is the room you'd like to go to first. We hope this works. Be patient with us. It might be a little bit messy, but we will try to do this as quickly as possible. So before I open the poll, I'm going to ask the presenters of each tool to respond to the poll question according to the tool that you are going to present. And the team who is the working group members who will be recording, please just stay in the main room. I will be assigning you manually. And I will start now. If you have any problems answering the poll on your computer or on your phone, you can just write on the chat which one you would like to go to, and we will send you there manually. So we have Latter, which is the social media schedule, Asana, which is the project management, Montage, which is the photo contest jury tool, 1Password for the password security tool, and StreamYard, for live broadcast studio. Okay, and for those of you who need interpretation in French or Spanish, French or Portuguese, we will only have interpretation in the main room. So I will let you know which will be the tool for the main room where we will have interpretation. We're waiting just for a few more people to answer. Okay, so we have very popular Asana tool. It's very popular. So we're going to keep the Asana tool in the main room. A room will break out. Sorry, this is done automatically with the poll. Just wait there for a second and I will bring you all back to the main room. So all the Asana people, just wait in that room and I will bring you back to this room. The other groups, have a great time and I will let you know when you're 5 minutes to finish the room, okay? StreamYard, you're going to have a personalized presentation, so fantastic. All right, we should be opening this now. Okay, so remember Asana, just wait, I will be bringing you back into the main room, okay?
Hi, everyone. Hi.
Hello.
Hi,
Hello.
may I
Hi.
get started? Is it okay if I get started?
Yes,
Yeah.
you can get started.
Awesome. I will speak as slowly as I can. I'm a bit nervous, so please bear with me. And if there's any background noise, please bear with me. I may mute, just so that we can let the noise pass by. I will be sharing my screen. Just a second. Is it visible? Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Thank you. Is that Carol? Thanks, Carol.
Yeah.
Okay, well, thanks everyone for joining. I will be covering the basic elements of Asana. Otherwise, we would stay here for hours. Oh, sorry, Anna. We would stay here for hours. So the basics that I will be illustrating in this demonstration is mainly briefly understanding how Asana works, highlighting a few features, and then how to use the tool accompanied by the workflow feature. And then also lastly, followed by the Q&A session. So just to follow up on my introduction from the main room, Asana for project management, how does it work? Well, individuals and teams can use Asana to break down large work into manageable tasks. It is a comprehensive work management tool that allows you to track project and task progress, share files, comments, and notes, and keep track of deadlines. It is a modern method of working together in collaboration. Asana, as already mentioned previously, is a task management software that has certain features like projects over here, workspaces, this is our workspace over here, and tasks, sections to manage projects and also tasks. And to further expand on some of these features, starting with projects, which is here. So just to reiterate, this is my home screen of Asana. So once you sign up and register for Asana, this would be a similar looking home screen to you. Of course, you can customize it as well, add your own widgets that you'd like, maybe a private notepad you would like to add. So a private notepad, for example, just add it, you drag it, place it there. So you could add some notes or whatever you'd like to have as your home screen. But yeah, so over here, I'd see my tasks. I have a few upcoming. I have a lot completed because I'm very on top of things. And then these are projects that the entire team has access to. There's quite a few more. And then these are the team members. As you may know, Florence, Ayla, Ceslas, Wilson, Rachel. Afek is not here with us today, but yeah, so Afek is also part of our team. So just highlighting the projects under our workspace. So this is our workspace, Wiki in Africa. And under the Wiki in Africa workspace, we have multiple projects, as you can see. And projects is a space where you can see a series of projects. They are, sorry. So projects are basically your organization's main units, which can be both private and public. You can color code, for example, over here, we have the color coding and filter them, and you can tag certain projects. You can add people to certain projects, but of course, once a project has been added under your workspace, everyone within that workspace, the members within the workspace have access to that specific project. So I'll just demonstrate briefly how we can create a project. And we'll just start with a blank project. Project name, for example, I would say demo. Let's connect. And as you can see here, it will be public to all the members within the Wiki in Africa, all the Wiki in Africa members. And here is a default view. I personally enjoy the list view compared to the board, which looks like this, the timeline, which looks like this, and then the calendar view, which looks like this. I prefer the list view. It's just more visually appealing for me. So we can continue and we can start adding tasks. It's just loading. So yes, this brings me to my next feature. You may create tasks, fill them up with a variety of information to keep your workload balanced. And then, so for example, finish demo in 15 minutes, right? And you can assign it to someone within your workspace, and I'll assign it to myself. You can add a due date. There's other fields that you can add as well. So for example, you want to add a text. So let's say the text field will be for links, right? That's another option that you can do. So you can create the field. So add any links that you need. Maybe a link, in this case, for this task would be a link to a slideshow. So finish the demo in 15 minutes is an example of a task. And over here on top, as you can see, we have multiple ways we can view our tasks. So a board would look something like this. A timeline would look, sorry, it's just loading. So yes, a timeline would look something like this. If I had added a due date, which let me do, so 21st, you will see it on your timeline, due tomorrow. And then you have the calendar view. I personally love the calendar view, but only after I've added the tasks under the list view. That is when I would then look at things from a calendar perspective, because then I can see what tasks are upcoming, what I need to be doing. So yes, and what is overdue. Sometimes you'll find a lot of tasks that are not yet completed. But yes, so we have the calendar view, which allows you to view all your pending tasks. You can quickly switch between the list view and calendar view on Asana, and to see which tasks are due and when. And now finally, we get to my favorite part of Asana, which is the workflow system that we have, or that, sorry, the workflow feature that Asana offers. So basically, a workflow is an end-to-end process that helps teams meet their goals by connecting the right people to the right data at the right time. Workflows move data, which in this case would be tasks, through a series of steps from initiation to completion. Once it's set up, a workflow helps you organize information in a way that is not only understandable, but also repeatable. Sorry. So yes, in this case, I'll just quickly demonstrate how we would create a workflow template. I would show you an existing one, which is the Wiki Africa Hour one, but I'll just show you how we actually create one. So step one is, of course, you would sign into your Asana account, which we have already done. So we've signed in successfully. And then step two, to create a new workflow template, you would go to your workspace and then scroll down to the bottom until you get to templates. And then you would say new template. And we would then create a template by entering a title. Same example as earlier, demo, let's connect 2023, right? And anyone in the team can edit. You can make it private if you'd like. Maybe it's a workflow system for yourself. If, for example, you find yourself repeating certain projects personally or whatever it is, you can create a template, a workflow for yourself. And then obviously anyone in the team can use without editing. But I want my team to collaborate with me, so they will edit with me. So we create the template. And then step 3 is to choose the default view for your new workflow template. So as I said, I genuinely prefer the list view compared to the other 3 because it's just more visually appealing, especially when I'm still adding tasks. So that's my view. My default view is the list. And then, sorry, I don't want to skip anything. So I've written everything down. And then we can click save or continue. And finally, we can skip this part. It's just an overview. We get to the settings, and over here, you can type a description. So a good description would be, for example, let's connect 2023, learning together, 2023. And anyone in the team can edit. And then you can also obviously invite people that is outside of your workspace. So for example, if I wanted to invite Jessica, who is not part of Wiki in Africa, but would love for her to have access to this workflow system, I would add her onto here and she'll have access solely to this system, the workflow, and not necessarily everything else that the Wiki in Africa team has. And then you can create the template by selecting done. And then at the bottom here, it will show as a template, right? So we can click on it and then we can use template. And then let's say, for example, why this is so helpful in the case of Wiki Africa Hour. Wiki Africa Hour is a project that runs basically every month. So the last Friday of each month, we have an episode running. So obviously, we then have tasks due every single month that are closely similar. So Ceslas, let me show you actually. I will rather show you. So this is our upcoming episode. And this started off as a workflow template. As you can see here, here's it. This is the template. All of this has been added as a template, right? There's no due dates because obviously, because we have an episode every single month, the due dates will only be applicable to that specific month. So yes, just going back to this already existing template, workflow. Once it's been created, you can then, once again, apply it specifically to the relevant episode. We are currently on episode 24, which is this Friday, next week, Friday, the 28th. So please be there. But yeah, so this started off as a template and is now being used for every single episode. And as you can see, there are multiple tasks that Ceslas has to complete, as well as Rachel, as well as myself. So this then avoids the mess of having to every single month manually create a task list. We just go to the template, we create the template for that specific episode. We obviously change, maybe there's a minor change for each episode. If we have to add an additional task to each stage, so be it. But yes, so we could add due dates, links, as I said. On top, we've added our links. Again, you can add an extra field if you'd like to. Yeah. So that is basically the workflow template and how that works. And something that I forgot to mention, let's just go back to the demo one that I created. So this is the actual template. Sorry. Let's edit. something I forgot to mention. So let's say, for example, finish demo in 15 minutes. And we've added a section, let's say stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. And stage 1 would be something like a pre, stage 2 would be something like during, stage 3 would be something like post. So yes, let's say we can move this in, we can move the tasks within sections. So let's during, and then you could also add triggers by customizing. So you can add rules. My favorite rule is this one. So when a due date is approaching, the task deadline, you can move it to a specific section. So let's say we have another section that says overdue. You will then have a trigger rules. You can add it. So when the due date is approaching, so when it's due today, you can move it to overdue. So it will automatically move any sort of late any sort of late tasks to the overdue section, notifying the person that the task is assigned to make sure that they complete the task or review the due date or whatever the case is. And yes, that is how the workflow template feature works. Individuals can use workflows to push their own projects, as I said earlier, but workflows are most impactful at the team and department level because they follow a sequence of steps, which I couldn't fully expand on now, but I gave a brief idea. Workflows naturally reduce inefficiencies by providing clarity to your team and when it comes to hitting your team's goals. Thank you so much for joining me. And if you have any questions, please do ask.
Thank you for the presentation. Do you have a training feature within the app, within the software?
Yes, there is one. I can actually show you. Let me just go to it first before I share my screen again. Okay. So within Asana, and thank you for that question. But yes, within Asana, you'll see at the bottom here, can you see my screen? Hello?
Yes, we can see. We can
Yes,
see.
we
Yes.
can.
Thank you. So yes, at the bottom here, it says help and getting started. So over here, they actually offer video tutorials. They offer contact support, how to integrate any sort of like apps. For example, if you want to integrate Google Calendar, Google Docs, Google Sheet, or even Slack. So we actually, I can't go to my Slack now, but we use our Slack to sort of comment on certain tasks and then it automates onto Asana. So Asana does offer a great deal of resources to be able to go through in order to get used to the platform.
Thank you.
Does that answer the question?
Yes, absolutely. Yes,
Okay.
thank you.
Okay, great. I'm very happy you asked it because I'm not the best at explaining, but yeah, I'm glad you asked that.
All right.
I see Carol also had a question. Carol, if you want to voice it yourself, or I can read it out.
Hi, I think somebody helped me. I was asking about the pricing, which is sent a link. Thank you. Then I wanted to ask, like, on Meta, can you link, or do you have again to go on Meta to write your projects and all that and update, or do you just link it? Thank you.
Sorry, Carol, just to clarify, are you asking, can you please repeat that actually about Meta?
I'm asking, do now like you have this Asana and you have done all your projects here, then you need to update projects on Meta on what you're doing. Do you link it to Meta, or do you then again go to Meta and start updating, she said, whatever, or the climate? Yeah.
Yeah, no. So we would have to manually go and update anything related to Meta on Meta. Meta and Asana, there's no integration for the two platforms. So whatever happens in Asana when it comes to Meta stays in Asana. But I'll definitely say that our tasks and our to-do lists definitely start in Asana. So when it, for example, here I have if I can find it, let me just go to my tasks. Over here, I have a task, add news to Meta, and this is related to Wiki Africa Hour. So the news that Setlas and I read out during each episode, I have to, it's a reminder for me to go onto Meta and add those news, but it doesn't necessarily add, I can't add the news here for it to automatically add onto Meta. I hope that answers the question.
I got it, thank you.
And I think there's also another question from, sorry, I don't know how to pronounce your name, but Abibat Traore. Do you want to say your question in French, or I can read it? Okay. So one question, is it possible to create a private project and then make it public?
Yes, definitely. Sorry, did I mute myself? Can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, okay, great. Sorry, because I now switched off my camera. It's getting a bit dark and I have load shedding now. So, but yes, no, you can definitely create a project and have it private and then afterwards make it public. So, for example, we could say, what kind of private thing would I like to do first? Planned birthday. Okay, planned birthday party. So it will automatically give you the option of it being public, but if I want it to be private, it will only be to me, and then I can add everyone else that will have access to the project. So you can definitely create a private, as you can see, it has a lock. It has a lock next to it, so it's private. Only I have access to it, and then I can definitely change it to have it public again, as you can see here. So I can add my members, let's say Florence and Ayla.
I don't see the dashboard moving, so you might have to refresh maybe. Don't know if it's on.
Sorry.
And just to note that I'm closing the room, there's only 1 more minute left, so we might get people come in, but you finish your explanation, Noni.
Okay. No, I think should I refresh real quick?
Yeah, I think so.
Can you see now?
Yes.
Can you see my screen now? Okay. So, okay, let me try again. So just quickly create a planned birthday party. So for now it's public, but you can make it private to project members, which will only be I at the moment. Continue. And as you can see there, that's the one I had previously created, but they both have locks in because it's private. Only I have access to it. Only I can view it. So yes, you can definitely have it private at first and then change it to public.
Ronnie, thanks for a wonderful presentation. That was fantastic. I learned a lot and I use Asana.
Thanks, Jessica. Thank you. Thanks, everyone. Are there any more questions?
No, I think we're going to.
Yes.
Oh, sorry.
Nope.
Go ahead. Go ahead whilst we.
Yes,
get
I have
more
a
into the room.
good day to you all. I was just wondering, from the main page of the Asana, I can see icons for emails, spreadsheet, and the rest. So I was wondering, can you send email or like edit spreadsheet or drive view information on your drive and the rest through this Asana or edit them?
You mean emails straight from your
I
email
can
box?
see icons for emails on the top menu, email, spreadsheet, and the rest, and drive.
Oh no,
So
these
can
are
you
just
access
my
them? Yeah. Can you?
no, sorry. These are just my pinned tabs. So these are all my private pinned tabs. I just put Asana pin there because I use it often. So this is my drive, my personal drive, and my Notion and my few other spreadsheets, but it's not related to Asana.
Okay, I understand.
Just pinned, yeah, it's just pinned on top.
Okay.
No
Okay.
worries.
Thank you. So there'll probably be a few more questions, and I see that the rooms were short. So we're gonna do the second round now. The idea is you can go to see a different tool. And again, in the main room, we'll keep the tool that is the most popular in the second round. And I hope that the recording worked well. I just want to check with all the working group members you were able to record onto your local computer. Garana, Douglas. We need to make sure we get a recording, at least one recording of each tool. Dora, can you just confirm? Justice?
Can I speak?
Yes, go ahead, Douglas.
Yeah, so the recording worked. So we'll get the recording after the meeting to be converted to MP4 after the meeting. That's the notification we received, but yeah, it worked well. Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. Okay, so we're waiting for just a few more people to answer. Remember, those who are presenting, please answer the poll with the tool you're presenting. And working group members, please, again, stay in the main room. Don't answer the poll. I will be sending you to the room. Okay, so now we have, who wants to guess the second most popular tool? There isn't a room for the ISA tool, sorry. Florence, or do you want to maybe comment on that? Or Isla? You're on mute, I think.
Oh, no, I don't think I'm on mute.
Now we can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, there was a calendar colliding on today because AFEC was supposed to present it, and it's Eid. So that's very important. So no, we will do ISA presentation in May. So keep tuned, and we'll help you on this.
17th, 18th.
Okay, so there was a bet that the most popular was going to be Montage, and Ronnie, you were correct. So we have Montage as the second most popular tool. So Montage will be in the main room. I will open the breakout room. All of you in the Montage room, I will bring you back into the main room. So just give me a few minutes to do that. And those of you who need interpretation into French or Portuguese, we will only be having it for Montage in the main room. And the rest of the rooms seem pretty balanced. So we're going to have, I think, a good second version. Those of you recording, please record again, just to make sure that we have good recording, I will be sending you to each room. And here we go.
Hi.
Hi, just give me 1 minute.
No
I'll
problem.
just organize the recording.
Should I load the screen?
Yes, perfect.
Okay. I'll try and talk quietly and slowly. It's one of my greatest faults.
Okay, we're ready.
Okay, should we continue?
Yes, you can start.
Okay, so thanks to everyone for making this the second biggest tool, most popular tool of this session. I want to introduce you to Montage. It is not the only jury tool that's available to Wikimedians, but it is the one that was created by Wikimedians for Wikimedians, and specifically for Wiki Loves Monuments. So it was created in order to really handle quite big volumes, but I do want to point out that it's only for individual photographs. So it is literally from it cannot do video, it cannot do photo essays, and it just does individual photographs. So I'm just going to walk you through the process. If you have been organizing or are part of an organizing team on a photo competition, and that photo competition is uploaded via two commons, you need to have a commons category. And on Commons, you can see that there's a montage page, and on here is basically the documentation and the introduction to the tool. It gives you all the detail about how they work. There are two different views, and I'll walk you through it just now. There's a juror view, so there's a view for the jury, and then there's the organizer view, so the view for the organizer and how you set that up. And so there's quite a lot of information here. There's some, it gives you the different ways that the information flows, or that the jury process flows, and there are different roles, and there's a manual for coordinators. So there's a lot of backup information here. And when you want to start a campaign, you have to request. It's all very volunteer-led, so you have to request access. And you basically need this information. So it's very important that you have this information. You have to be a Wikimedian. So you have to have a Wikimedia username and an active, obviously an active account. And your jurors have to also have a Wikimedia user account. So if you are using or have requested or have got professional photographers on board in order to do to be part of your jury process, you have to walk them through the Wikimedia sign up and make sure that you have their username before you get started. And then you just, as usual, you just like start, you put in the request with the information that they've asked for. So heading over to ToolForge, you basically go to Montage itself. And when you're there, you will have like either active campaigns, which are the ones where you are organizing, you are the coordinator for, or you're voting, your active voting rounds. So I'm going to show you what it's like for a campaign. I did activate this earlier because for the team that we had earlier, the demonstration we had earlier, but essentially there are three different types of rounds. So there's three different types of voting you can do. You can do a yes, no, which is a very easy, very simple thing. And we use that for both the very first, we do a first round, we have first reviewers, and that basically just gets all of the kind of like the lack of quality, the ones that are, the images that are do not relate to the themes, the ones that have got watermarks on them, the ones that are too small, the ones that are just terrible photographs. And those are all kind of reviewed in this. And we put a call out to our community. And then like last year, we had 16,000 images that we needed to go through the jury process. And we had over 50 first reviewers who just came through and they said yes or no. And they said like, this image is fairly good. I can see that it's an okay photo. It'll go yes, or this has no relevance to what we need, and it becomes a no. But because most of those reviewers were not photographers or have any kind of like visual arts training, we also made sure that each image had quite a lot. So they were like between 5, each image was seen by between 5 or 8, depending on how many people. So that there were a lot of people who, even if somebody didn't have an idea what they were saying, they could, a good quality image could still get through. So that's anyway. So round 1 is a yes, no, which is just very black and white. It's just it's either going through or it's out. So that's kind of like the idea. You set up the voting deadline. So in this case, you basically just set up what the round number is. In the first case, it would be like the first review round. You give directions, and here we normally put the criteria. So what the reviewer is looking at, or what the juror is specifically looking at, and it gets a little bit more kind of like obviously more detailed and more direct towards the last round. So just to give you an idea of numbers, in last year we had 16,000 for the first round of the first reviewer, and then the jury, the international jury, we had 13 international jurors who are all professional photographers, and they came in on the second round of the process, an entirely new team, and they had about 3,000 images that had been whittled down from the 16,000. So quite a big space that had been kind of set back. And then, but in that first round, the jurors, the photographers didn't see each image. They didn't have to view each image. So we could, because there was 13, we could section them into, so they only really saw about 1,600 images each. So it can reduce, and then it's very mathematically based, but basically it allows you to make sure that the jurors aren't overwhelmed because they're all doing it on volunteer basis. And it also makes it as easy as possible. So this is the quorum, which is how you set that. So it's the number of jurors that see each image. So if there are 1,000 images and you've got 10 jurors, then you can set it so that each juror sees 500. Yeah, so then at least So it becomes like it becomes a lot of numbers, but anyway, and then you add, here you can see, so the jurors here, you add different people, the jurors, here you add the username. So in my case, it might already see me, but basically I've already added myself, but there's my username, and then but it's really important and to be very precise, because some people give you the wrong username and then it's added and then you're wondering why nothing's happening. So if I save this round, which is a yes/no round, okay, I don't know why there's an internal, it was working just now. Let's try it again. Okay, I don't know why. Could somebody give me their username and I can add them to here? I know, I'm going to do that. Okay, thanks, Geoffrey. Okay, let's add some others then. And Bacola, thank you. Okay, that's Geoffrey and Bacola. All right, so we're going to save you here. Ooh. At least 3, let's try. And also here, you can also decide the minimum resolution that you'll accept. You can make sure that only images that, sorry, it does take time for it to be, to go through. I don't know why it's. You want to play along. All right, so let me go. Let's see if it works, because I'd messed with this, and I think maybe it's because I changed it. But here, if I come here, activate. Yeah, so when you're setting up the round, you can set up like the minimum. You can set up the minimum. What's his name? Minimum resolution. So we don't allow any images through that are over 2 megabytes, and then. You can also disqualify judges from viewing their own images and judging on their own images if you want to include images in your, if you want to allow the judges' images to still go through in the competition. So there's a range of different kind of like things that happen. Geoffrey, you said, how do you know you have this? Oh, because it basically sets there. You can set it at 2000. Whatever, 2 million, 2 megapixels, megabytes. So in this case, here's an image of one which is being judged, and it's very simple. It's like you either accept it or you decline it, yeah? And if you decide that you don't, maybe you want to go through and check whether you made the right decision, you can also go back and go, oh no, actually that's quite a nice one, I'll accept it. So you can also go back and review your changes and your decisions. And if you're not sure, like you want to do a little bit more, you can also like skip it and vote later and then come back to it. And here it also doubled, you can see here, you can see the size. Geoffrey, does this answer your question as well? You can see the size of the image. You can also go and check. So in this first review process, we often check like a watermark. So there's one thing where and you can go to the comments page, and here it comes. You know, you can see that this is that's all of the information. So you can double check that it's been uploaded, you can see that it comes from Egypt, or if you wanted to check where it came from, or you can also check the metadata if you wish to, but you can also see that the metadata is coming through here. And it also tells you whether there's only one version of this, or if it's been, you know, if there are several versions that have been uploaded. So people trying to game the system in a competition. And you can also double check that it can also go to full size or bigger if you wish. Then going back to, yeah, and it just goes through. So you can either have, so you can go right quite close to have a look in the rounds. So this is the first round, which is yes, no round. And then the next round where hopefully you've got a lot more reduced. So what happens is that when you decide to go to the next round, you can reduce down to like according to the votes. So it's very mathematically kind of precise. And you can decide, like, do you want to be really strict and only have, say, the ones that were yes, that had, say, if 5 jurors looked at this image and 4 of them voted yes, you can only, that you would only accept that. Or if you want to be a little bit more kind of loose or a bit more lax on it, if you've got smaller numbers, then you can choose that if 3 jurors decided that this was a yes, then it would go through. So you can decide the thresholds that go through to the next round. And then for the next round is a rating round, where you basically, it's a 5-star round, and you basically choose 5 stars, obviously, if it's a immaculate, beautiful, stunning image, and 0 stars if it's a terrible image and shouldn't be on it, or you just feel it shouldn't go through. And then for the last round, it's a drag and drop kind of situation, where you have at the very top left is what you think should win. So your first prize image, and then it should be like the second prize, and third, what do you consider to be like the top 20 or 30. And there are some like niggles in it because it's all based on mathematics. So it all is based on, it's not assessing, it's not an AI that's assessing like the image itself. It's just basically, if it's placed first, then it gets 0. If it's placed second, then it gets 1. If it's placed third, then it gets, so it's all based on that kind of system. And so when you're on that last round, you have to decide whether if it's over 20 images, the juror normally kind of like goes, here are my top 10. I don't really care how the other ones set. So you just have to kind of then allow them to, you have to kind of like find a way of taking that last lot and making it work mathematically. But at the moment, that's kind of a consideration when you get into big numbers, I think, rather than if you're just doing a smaller kind of show on here. Does anyone have any questions at this stage? You can ask in the chat if you wish.
There doesn't seem to be any in the chat, but if anybody wants to raise their hand and just ask the question.
Ask questions. There are 2 things that you need to also look out for. First of all, as I said, absolutely your user, whoever the juror is, has to have a Wikimedia username, and you have to be very clear about what the expectation is. We've had problems where we've had people who have volunteered and we've loaded them on as a juror, and then they just haven't turned up. And one of the things that is quite amazing about this is that you can actually chart the progress. So you can see how many like what percentage your juror is through their batch. And so you can actually see kind of like so when you get closer to the deadline, you can go like, oh, well, actually, Fred isn't really finishing, but he's not doing, so you can approach Fred and say like, what's happening? Why aren't you, or people disappear. So then you can see how the person from the previous round, Wilson, he's now out, but it's all been taken now onto Joffrey's. So in this case, I'm 12.7% through my kind of like assigned images. Joffrey's done nothing. Joffrey. And James is also like, he still has to get started. So you see there's like a whole thing that's working there. So you can keep track of how, and then you can also here, you can see like for the moment, I've made, you know, all of them have been accepted. But when I do no's or when I do like declines, you'll be able to see kind of like the more nuanced kind of, so it's a bit of a dashboard for the organizer at the back here. And you can click through to the various things by just clicking on the montage at the top, and it just allows you to go between. But what happens is often the person who's organizing, the coordinator, isn't in the jury. So you don't necessarily, and you shouldn't be part of the final jury if you're the organizer. There's a bit of a conflict of interest, but in some case that does also make it very difficult for you to understand what the problem is if you haven't been on a jury side of things before. And just to show you the different interfaces, because you've only seen, in this case, sorry, you've only seen the yes no kind of system. We also, this is the rating round. So you can see that it doesn't look exactly like this, but I'll do some updated images for this. You can see here that this is the rating. So in this case, this was voted 4 out of 5 stars. And then this is the ranking. This is the final one where you pick up. So you basically use this as kind of like a toggle, and you would pick it up and then put it here into the left-hand side if you wanted that to be first. Yeah, so you kind of shift it around like cards a little bit, but on screen. Does anyone have any other questions? Okay, James. Yes, I didn't get that first steps. Does the juror get a notification for being added on the montage? So what you would do is you would, as the coordinator, you would approach the montage team. You would leave on the talk page here, which is up here, the discussion page, or you would request access. They would then give you the link. They would load your campaign. They would give you the link. You would then upload as the jurors' usernames, and then you would inform them with the link. So we've got something like 10 different emails that we send to our jurors in order to inform them of different parts of the process, what the criteria are, what they can expect, when the deadlines are. So there's a whole range of that. And if you want that kind of information, I can share the stuff that we've done over the last 9 years and in doing jury coordination. Does that answer your question, Bukola? So it's a lot of, and just to be clear, you can't rely on Montage to do the communications for you. You have to kind of like basically hold your jurors through the process, because they're not Wikipedians mostly, or Wikimedians or communists. So you have to kind of like try and help them through some of that stuff. Joffrey, you're asking on the final round to determine the winning photos after all the jury has finished its work. It's advisable to take the top 3 photos at the winners to discuss the results. Yes, so I wanted to just finalize that because this is basic, it's based on the law of averages, so or the rules of averages. So essentially what happens is, as I said, the majority of say you've got 30 images in your final round to be ranked, people generally will only rank the top 10 or top 15, and then will leave unranked the last kind of 15 or the last 10. And so that might skew some of the image, how the maths kind of works out. So you might, for your top images, something that you think is amazing might be rated 5 for 1. And last year, the image that was consistently put at the top, not one of the jurors actually selected it as their first, like, number 1 image. It was just consistently in the top 5. So everybody was kind of disappointed with what the machine basically decided would be the final image. So what I did is then we had several meetings where we discussed which ones were the final and where we reached a consensus. And we did that also with using a different weighted scale, and we used that with a Google document where we talked through the merits of each of the images in the final 10. Okay, anybody else have any questions? That was a very good point raised by Geoffrey, but it is, and I can talk you through the weighting as well if anybody wants to talk about that kind of very much specific thing, but it's not really relevant to Montage itself, so as a tool. And just to be clear that there are literally 2 volunteers who work on Montage and setting it up. They're absolutely awesome. So please be supportive of them because it's entirely voluntary and very responsive. Any other questions?
Everybody's coming back in now. Thank you for a fantastic presentation.
All right, I hope everyone's clear.
Yes. Welcome back, everybody. So I'll hand it over to Douglas.
Yeah, thank you, Jessica. We were actually backstage as the the StreamYard team, and since I've been handed over the opportunity, I'll maybe just share briefly what happened from the different breakout rooms. We were in the StreamYard room. We had a demonstration of how it works, how you can be able to connect to the different destinations. Destinations being platforms like Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, yeah, and a couple of others. We have a recording, so in case some members missed the first breakout, they can be able to connect to the second breakout, which had it was more interactive because Ceslos was able to take us backstage, and we did a very interactive live demo. Yeah, there were a few questions that were asked. We've recorded this in the document. Questions like how can you be able to invite people? Do you need StreamYard? But then it's very easy. Once you set it up, you just share a link and they can be able to join. And then can there be more than one platform at a time? At the moment, yes, the answer is yes. But at the moment, there were 3 platforms that StreamYard can connect to: Facebook, YouTube, and another one. Exactly. Yeah, but the last interesting thing is that StreamYard is provided free of charge by Wiki in Africa. And this offer is available to all Wikimedians who might want to stream an event live. So that is a thumbs up and yeah, a round of applause to Wiki in Africa.
It's a very important point, Contact us and try it before you consider buying anything.
Yes, exactly.
At minimum, you can test it at a minimum.
Yeah.
And this is exactly what we did with Wikipedia Wiki. They did the same.
Yeah.
They hosted us for a year. And after a year, we decided to get independent, but they did the same. Baby
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really a great offer. Thank you so much, Wiki in Africa. So now, like, this is the session for group reflections has already started, and that is what we had from breakout room 4. Now I'd like to invite, should I invite Jessica or Justice or Gorana? But Justice, maybe you can share with us what happened in your group. Do you have Justice or any other working group member ready?
I can do while Justice is getting ready.
Thank you.
So I was in break room number 3 with Florence, and she presented about 1Password, and I realized that is really amazing stuff, even for like a private use, but also for the team. When you are a part of the team, 1Password is really great way to share passwords without maybe even letting team members know what you're giving them access to that, and you can manage to see what kind of access do they have. You can separate in different groups and teams. You can always see if your passwords are strong enough, if they're secure, if everything is safe. So 1Password is really amazing way to share that with your team, but also for your personal use. And the only thing, which is the best thing, you only have to remember password for 1Password, and you can forget about all of them that are hiding in that website. So it's really amazing. Thank you very much, Florence, for sharing that with us.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay, so
Justice, you're muted.
yes, so I was in the breakout room with Rachel, and she was doing a presentation on Later and how Later could help affiliates share their stories through social media very successfully and very easily. So I think one of the questions that came out from the session was, how do you know the best times to post through the Later? And she showed us the dashboard on best times to post on the different channels that they have. And so it was one of the amazing discoveries that we learned from that session. It also gave us an interesting idea around if you are a nonprofit within Africa or within doing work in racial discrimination and all that, you can actually get discounts on Later if you apply for it. So I think for me, I didn't know that was the case. So after this call, I'm actually going to do it for our affiliates in Ghana and see if we can apply for such a discount, because we haven't used any scheduling tools. We just do manually or through the various social media. So maybe this is going to be an opportunity for us to also use it. But then it also gave us the perspective on how to schedule reels, how to schedule Instagram posts, how to comment on posts using Instagram or on Later. And so I think anybody that watches the video is going to get a very hands-on, in-depth understanding of what Later is, and it's going to be great. Yeah, thank you.
I'm sorry, can I just say something? Justice, I've put the link to the application on the Meta page for the Learning Clinic, where you can apply for your nonprofit. So it's actually under the thing. I put the link there, so you guys can easily find how to apply for your discounts.
Okay, thank you so much, Justice. So we are at the top of the hour almost, and maybe we can hear from one or two more people, because we have an announcement from the Wiki in Africa team that we wouldn't like to miss. So perhaps let's have one other person, and then we can have the announcement by Wiki in Africa team. I see Wilson is eagerly waiting, and so Ayla, who else is to share? Dora, then we can hand over to the announcement. Is Dora, Ayla, is Dora on the call?
Dora
Okay.
was in my first session. I'm not sure who was in charge of the second one.
Okay, then
Were there
Jessica,
any
maybe. Oh,
participants?
Jessica, you had us. You were in the session. Maybe
Yeah,
anything
no, I'd
to
like
share. Then
to hear from any of the participants if they learned anything that was important for them, for their work. So I see Bukola or Anthony or Constance, also have some French speakers. If anybody wants to. Oh, I see Uncle Bash. I'm sorry, I'm not sure what your real name is, but go ahead.
All right, thank you, Jessica. I'm actually from like group 3 with Florence, one password and the rest. And one password is really an amazing, not only for saving passwords, but also for monitoring your logins for different sites and the rest. Actually, what is more interesting is like you can.
We're losing your audio a little bit.
All right, can you hear me?
Yes, now we can. It comes and goes.
Okay.
I think you're on mute now. Do you want to try again?
Yes, thank you very much. Let me try again. I said another most important.
I think we've lost you. Maybe we can hear from, I see Nzekor. Sorry about the pronunciation. If you want to go.
That's right. Good evening, all. Very amazing presentation by everyone. I was in the Asana class and also that of the StreamYard. They are both, very important tools for myself, for someone just at the feasibility study or starting up a charity. So definitely something I will recommend to the team, and we look forward to using it. And I was so impressed with the feature that I saw in the StreamYard, which definitely makes it easier to reach out at a wider audience. So thank you so much, and nice presentation.
okay, wonderful. So I guess now we can hand it over to Wilson and the Wiki in African team to make the announcement about exciting activities coming up.
So thank you, Douglas. Thank you to the Let's Connect team. Thank you for everyone who has been in the back room working things out. We are very excited to participate in this. Quickly, I just want to mention that first apologize that we couldn't demo ISA, the ESA tool, and I promise you that the official demo has been scheduled actually for the 17th and the 18th of May. 17th for French and 18th for English. We're making all the necessary arrangements to ensure that you don't miss out anything that you should have gotten from this encounter. So yeah, looking forward to that. Wiki in Africa is excited about the prospects of collaborations and adoptions that will be happening as a result of these sessions. We see some people indicating interest to start using some of the tools. We see Justice talking about adopting of some of the projects, some of the tools for their team. And we've seen Nemeka and the other team also making conversations. Especially for Montage, I'm aware that a lot of community members are particularly interested in Montage for obvious reasons. There's a lot of WLX events in the Wikimedia space, so it makes sense to find a tool like Montage and save yourself all of the stress, especially with Asana, an administrative tool that makes working collaboratively super simple, super easy, and just takes off all of the stress. Of course, StreamYard and 1Password. I might have to say that 1Password is maybe my least favorite, but I won't say it because Florence and I will be forced to have a meeting about that. So yeah, thank you so much. I'll hand over to Florence or Ayla if you have something to say also. Thank you. To 17th of May for the French version and the 18th of May for the English version for the ESA tool. I look forward to hosting every one of you. Thank you.
Yeah, very briefly, thank you, everyone. As Ayla shared on the chat, there is a page on Meta where we listed all the tools we have been talking about, as well as some links. So in the 3 cases of now I'm getting Asana and 1Password, there are plenty of videos on the web. And all these places host their videos. So I invite you, if you are interested by these tools, you can listen to us again, and then you can check all the videos. They are very well done. These are professional commercial company. They do it well. For all the others, we have planned opportunities for you to do stuff with us first. So there will be Wilson presentation in May for ESA. There will be some Montage project being organized after Wiki Loves Africa, and there will be StreamYard that you can do with Ceslau. So please, if you need any help, come to us, ask, and check out the Meta page where we listed all these links. Thank you very much for all of you, and thank you for the Let's Connect team to organize this whole activity. Thanks.
Thank you, Douglas and Jessica. Thanks so much. And thanks for everyone turning up.
Thank you. Thank you so much for producing all this wonderful content. Just a final thing before people head off, we do have a quick feedback. If you can just make sure to go to that Mentimeter link and just take 3 minutes to respond. Your feedback is useful for us to improve our sessions, and also let us know what went well for you. And we will be sharing the recording. I'm very sorry we didn't have a French version for each presentation. We did say that only the main room would be interpreted because it's a Zoom limitation, but maybe we'll find a way to do a video with subtitles or a second version where we have it in French. So I'm very sorry about that limitation, but we will do our best to continue to be more multilingual. Thank you. Please give us the feedback in the Mentimeter. And you can open up your mics and say goodbye. We'll stop recording now, but the idea is that we always end with a bit of mess and happiness.
Thank you.